Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week, we watched everything the Muppets were up to in October 1979, which means we watched 3 more episodes of The Muppet Show from Season 4, featuring guests Crystal Gayle, Kenny Rogers, and Dudley Moore. And we also watched a very, very, very brief clip of Kermit and Fozzie on It'll Be Alright on the Night.
Probably the shortest thing we've ever watched, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much a Vine.
Well, it wouldn't even be a very good Vine.
No, not really. There's not a good arc here, no
No.
story. But before we get to talking about those things, Sam,
You know what?
there were no Muppets at the Oscars.
There weren't. We had a little Oscars bingo card going, and I did put Muppet on that. They showed Dark Crystal Muppets for a second.
They did, yeah. Wanda Sykes got to talk about some Dark Crystal Muppets.
I felt like that didn't count though.
That's the closest we got, though.
Yeah, but that's not the spirit of the Muppet appearing. We needed a Muppet on this Oscars too, Matt. If ever we needed a Muppet.
Yeah, it was. I think some people got their hopes up because earlier in the day, Miss Piggy posted a short video clip talking about the Oscars, and I think people were like, "Okay, so the Muppets posted this. Disney owns ABC. It'd be easy to just like have Miss Piggy show up."
Yeah.
But no, it was just a promotional thing for Miss Piggy to talk about the Oscars.
Yeah.
And she didn't show up, not even on the red
No.
carpet.
Disrespectful and a waste of our time, I would say.
That I think that sums up the Oscars this year.
Yeah, people really hated the Oscars this year, aside from the obvious thing that happened.
See, and I was like the opposite, where I liked everything except the obvious thing.
I didn't mind them at all, and I was reading Twitter before the slap happened, and everybody was like, "This is the most disrespectful, worst Oscars ever." Like, why?
I'm very curious what you thought of the In Memoriam.
That was what one of the things people were complaining about. When it was happening, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
Yeah.
This is like, it doesn't have to be somber, and
Right.
it is like, well, so for people who didn't watch the Oscars, which is probably a lot of people, they usually in the In Memoriam are playing swelling, sad music or clips from the people just like talking in the movies they're in, or clips of the music they composed. But this time they had like a choir singing like Spirit in the Sky and a couple other kind of like perky, but also subtly about death songs. And a lot of people on Twitter were saying that it was rude and disrespectful to be so like high energy about it or something.
To me, it was a relief. Like that, I'm so used to the sad, sort of boring In Memoriam segment of the Oscars
Yeah.
that this was like, I don't know, it felt more like a celebration of these people as opposed to like, everyone, moment of silence, these people have died.
Yeah.
And I typically avoid social media during the Oscars, whether or not I am watching, because it is my least favorite night on Twitter.
It's just a lot of people complaining.
Yeah, and this Oscars in particular has actually made me leave Twitter.
You're off Twitter.
For now, I'm sure I will be back at some point, but from my personal account, I have not been active on Twitter for a week now.
Nobody's
since the
talking
Oscars.
about the slap anymore, Matt. It's okay. You can come back.
I don't trust it. But yeah, I enjoyed, I like when they announced that Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer, and Regina Hall were hosting, I was like, okay,
Weird.
that's a weird trio of people. But they did great.
I thought they were really fun.
Every time they showed up, I thought it was great. I thought Regina Hall's thing of seducing random men in the audience.
Yeah,
was-
being horny, just like
Yeah.
Miss Piggy. In the proud tradition of Miss Piggy, she was extremely and violently horny.
A little bit, overzealous at times,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, I think, I would have enjoyed a nice little Regina Hall, Miss Piggy moment or something.
Sure.
But we didn't get it. Hopefully in the future we can get some more Muppets back on the Oscars. but not this year.
Well, Matt, I heard that you also had a statement prepared about the slap and kind of your take on it. Do you want to read that now?
Actually, I'm going to recant that statement before I even say it.
Oh, okay.
This
Fair
actually
enough.
was a really weird week to one of my non-Muppet things I enjoyed this week. I had started, before this week, listening to Will Smith's audiobook of his memoir.
Yeah.
And I was about like 75% of the way through it by the time last Sunday happened. And it was suddenly very weird to go back and listen to that audiobook and be like, yeah, I feel differently about this man than I did an hour ago.
Well, maybe you got some insight. You're making some connections. Like, this all led to this moment.
I think if you listen to his book, it is a lot less surprising that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a man very focused on winning and courage and standing up. And yeah, I think, I hope he is getting the help he needs.
Wow, you actually ended up making a statement. Anyway, despite your best efforts.
Despite my best efforts, yes. Yeah. But yeah, I think the last time the Muppets were on the Oscars was 2012, like the year that like right after their movie had come out, and I think they got nominated for a best song for
Man or Muppet
Man
or
or
something
Muppet.
like that.
And so yeah, I think that's the last time they appeared at the Oscars. So I think they need another big movie to come out in order to get invited back.
Do you think they'll ever have another big movie?
Oh, absolutely. Why wouldn't they?
Okay. I don't know.
Think the
We'll
Muppets are
see.
done?
Yeah, the Muppets are canceled. They're over.
I guess we could catch up at least if they get canceled.
Yeah, if they never make another Muppet thing again, there's an end in sight for us.
Whereas now there is just endless amounts of YouTube and Twitter videos being released that we will never catch up to.
Yeah.
But we'll do our best, and we will start this week by continuing through 1979. Sam, what did we watch this week?
October 11th, 1979, New York City. A crisp chill is in the air, leaves fall gently from the trees, and Crystal Gayle is on the Muppet Show, all sure signs that fall has arrived. Scooter has been hard at work helping the Prairie Dog Glee Club practice for their number this week, but he has noticed a problem. The little varmints steal anything that isn't nailed down, and this includes Kermit's beloved collar, the swiping of which leaves the frog naked and humiliated. Even the police have no power over the Glee Club as Bear on Patrol Fozzie tries to arrest them in the middle of their big act, only to have the very uniform stolen off his back. In the end, evil triumphs, and the Glee Club face no ramifications for their actions. Highlights this episode include the Prairie Dog Glee Club, who are very cute, and also sort of like presage what the rats will become later. This felt very proto-rats to me. Just a bunch of little stinkers running around, kind of trying to get away with something. The Pigs in Space skit was slightly better than usual because it had Star Wars flair, so I was kind of a sucker for that. It wasn't great, but it was interesting. And the UK spot with the fish and the shark, that was pretty cool too, but Kermit being naked felt like such a stretch to me that I had trouble getting into this episode, and Crystal Gayle was a little bit boring, I thought.
Sam, it took me 3 watches to get through this episode.
Really?
I kept getting sleepy.
Oh no. Why? Which part would make you sleepy, do you remember?
I think it starts when she does her first number.
Her first number's so long.
I don't even think it's anything about this episode or about her that specifically made me not enjoy it. Just something about that River Road song.
Maybe it's her bobbing up and down, too.
It's her pretending to walk.
It's so weird.
It's very weird. And yeah, we'll get obviously more into it, but something about this episode just was not connecting with me in a way that I kept having to turn it off because I realized I wasn't paying attention. Like I was zoning out. And so I was like, I have to talk about this on a podcast. I should probably restart this episode so I remember what I thought about it.
I can see that. I mean, I thought the Prairie Dog Glee Club was fun enough to like carry it through, but we'll talk about it more. So Crystal Gayle is Loretta Lynn's little sister, which I found out as I was typing that sentence. Did you know that already?
I did not until I think we actually maybe mentioned it in the Loretta Lynn episode.
Oh, probably so.
Because Muppet Wiki alerted me to the fact that sisters would be on the Muppet Show.
Oh,
but
okay.
yes, I don't think I knew that before researching either of them for this podcast.
Yeah, that kind of blew my mind a little bit. And she was also an early example of a crossover country pop superstar, just like Taylor Swift. Fun fact, her Christian name is Brenda, but she had to change it because the record company she was signed to already had a Brenda. So she took the name Crystal from a Crystal Burger sign that she saw. So that's where it comes from. I don't think I've ever heard a Crystal Gayle song that I can remember, but I bet Matt has.
Actually, no. Even her number one hit, which was something like "You Turn
Don't
My Brown
turn
Eyes
these
Blue."
brown eyes blue.
Yeah, that didn't sound familiar to me.
No, I listened to all of her, like a lot of her top ones on Spotify to see if anything rang a bell. Nothing.
Yeah, no. I know her name. Again, like her name sounded familiar to me when we were gearing up to do this episode, but nothing she has ever done sounded familiar to me.
I feel like her name might just sound familiar because she was like mentioned on something else we've watched or something like that.
I don't know. It's just her name is like reminiscent of being a famous person to me. Like I remember her name being mentioned somewhere, but I could not even now probably hear one of her songs on the radio and say, "Oh, it's Crystal Gayle."
Probably on The Simpsons. I bet they.
I mean, honestly, I think that's where most of these references come from. Is like Krusty made a reference to some celebrity on The Simpsons, and I'm like, that name is burned in my brain forever.
Now it's October 18th, 1979, and your favorite night of the week, Muppet Show night. This week, singing and fried chicken icon Kenny Rogers stops by, only to find that his dressing room is occupied by a giant pump jack, which is pumping for oil. It turns out Scooter's uncle, J.P. Gross, sold the mineral rights to the theater to Saudi oil barons. As if that weren't bad enough, the opening number featuring Kermit as a trapeze artist goes horribly awry, sending him hurtling into a wall and then falling violently to the ground. He comes out of it relatively okay. He's just twisted a flipper. But that, it turns out, is only the beginning of his nightmare. The hospital bed he's resting in is defective and jettisons him through the air, and then he's literally catapulted by Gonzo into Statler and Waldorf's box. All the while, more and more of the backstage is becoming occupied with oil drilling equipment. And Kenny, who's been backstage trying to help Kermit and all the other Muppets kind of keep things calm, comes out and sings a peaceful song to just kind of bring the mood down a little bit, make everybody chill out. And it works, I guess. This one doesn't really have much of an ending. Just Kenny and everybody singing along. Highlights for this episode include the whole backstage plot, problematic though it may be, with the oil rig. It's very Simpsons, very chaotic, and very much the kind of thing that I love. I do wish that it had some kind of resolution, because it does seem like the whole theater is about to explode or something, and then nothing really happens. And also Kermit getting obliterated over and over again was really good, because they're just basically like throwing his puppet at the wall, and he's flopping lifelessly to the ground over and over again. And I really like that he showed up on Vet's Hospital. My note right before that is, this better be Kermit under the little blanket. And it was. And I also love a huge Gonzo set piece. So he has got like a full working catapult on stage with him. The UK spot, however, was especially bad. And the lime and the coconut sketch was just yikes. We don't even got to touch that one, maybe.
Yeah, it's a weird episode in many ways. I think because the obvious racism that happens. There's a man who dies on stage. There is...
Wait, who dies on stage?
The gambler.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
He turns into a dancing ghost.
Dancing ghost right in that train car.
And he's really scary, too.
And I feel like I, too, enjoy both of the backstage plots of like Kermit being injured over and over and the oil rig stuff. But
yeah,
it's weird that they're both in the same episode. Like, it feels like either of those could carry an entire backstage plot, but they
don't even like interact with each. Those two plots don't intertwine in any capacity.
No. So it's, I think... It's a very weird episode that we will talk more about, but it's just it's weird how there are some moments of very problematic stereotypes in this episode mixed in with some like top tier Muppet comedy.
Ain't that the way of it? So Kenny Rogers is another crossover country artist and one of the best-selling musical artists of all time. He started out in the 60s in a rock band called The First Edition, whose biggest hit is Just Dropped In to See What Condition My Condition Was In, which is that song that they danced to in The Big Lebowski in that dream sequence. Great song. He was like a cool psychedelic guy, but the band slowly morphed. Yeah, they slowly morphed into a country band and ultimately split up, and then Kenny Rogers started a solo career, and the rest is history. He's just a couple years into his solo career at this point, which was shocking to me. His big hit record, The Gambler, had come out in 1977 and was a huge success and like rocketed him to instant icon status. And in 1991, he would go on to start the fried chicken chain Kenny Rogers Roasters, which you may remember from an episode of Seinfeld or just from real life.
Only from Seinfeld for me. That's the only, like, I think when I saw that episode of Seinfeld, I may have thought that was a fake thing.
That was a joke, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a Seinfeld joke.
Yeah, if you were going to try to think of, like, okay, random celebrity plus random restaurant, Kenny Rogers Fried Chicken, go.
And the oil stuff is referencing the fact that in the last couple of years of the 70s, Saudi Arabia had bought up a controlling interest in their country's oil reserve from a U.S. company, and they became the largest oil-producing country in the world. So something that we recognize as status quo, basically, was pretty new at this point, which was also surprising. Finally, it's October 25th, 1979. Visions of ghosties and goblins dance in your head as you switch on the telly to check out The Muppet Show. This week starring comedian and musician, apparently, Dudley Moore. But Dudley hasn't come alone. He's brought with him his music and mood management apparatus, aka Mama, an astromech-looking robot who can play all the music a variety show could ever need, from big musical numbers to all the incidental music, everything. Kermit, seeing the savings this little robot could provide because you get to fire the whole band, is excited to test out the unit for the night. Not excited, however, are every musically inclined member of the crew. So they all band together and hassle Kermit, and then move on to physically threatening Dudley, a tactic which successfully rids them of Mama, in theory. But a gonzo act gone wrong leads to the actual destruction of Mama and much of the stage. Luckily, real flesh and blood musicians are there to pick up the pieces where technology failed, and the band plays triumphantly amongst the wreckage of the theater. This, I gotta say, is one of my favorite episodes ever. Mama was great and complemented all the skits really well. I like that it was tied into everything. Animal was super funny when they were threatening Dudley. Like, that whole scene was terrific. And the final act with the theater falling down around the band, like bricks and stuff falling on their head, was really awesome. I loved it. The weakest part to me was the Bugs playing She Loves You at the start, but even that was charming enough. It was just your standard Muppet Show act. Dudley Moore was a British musician and comedian. He was trained as a jazz pianist, but he eventually took up with a comedy troupe, a decision that would end up with him becoming a British TV and film superstar. So at this point in the late 70s, he had made the jump to Hollywood just like within the last year, where he would go on to star in the movie Arthur, which is about a drunken lout of a British aristocrat who finds true love and turns his life around. Later to be remade, starring Russell, what's his name? Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he would get nominated, not Russell, but Dudley, would get nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor, but he would not win it. We also watched 15 seconds of a British blooper show called It'll Be All Right on the Night, which usually shows blooper clips from various British TV shows. There are no Muppet bloopers here, just Kermit and Fozzie kind of doing a little, like, thanks for watching spot on the show, and then Fozzie's mouth gets stuck open, and that's it. It's 15 seconds long. And elsewhere in 1979, just to make Matt happy, smallpox was declared eradicated by the World Health Organization on October 26th, the day after the Dudley Moore episode comes out. So hell of a 2 days for people in 1979.
The only other thing I had in my notes that happened during this time in the Muppet world was on October 22nd, the strike was settled at the TV studio that the Muppets produced their show at.
Oh, yeah.
We had talked previously about the start of this strike, which I believe was back in August of 1979. And we talked about that a bit more in a previous episode, so I won't go too much into it. But yeah, so they had to take off, 11 weeks of production, while the strike was settled. And there was some conflicting production date information on Muppet Wiki, so I don't feel super confident talking about what episodes were produced before and after the strike. But it seems about half of season 4 was produced before the strike happened. And so it looks like before the strike, they had probably about, 3 to 5 months of leeway between production dates and airing dates. And then when it comes to the second half, those dates were a little tighter, with the longest time being 3 months. And if the dates are to be believed, the Christopher Reeve episode was produced 2 weeks before it aired. So it seems turnaround times were a bit tighter in the second half.
Yeah. So were they trying to make it so there wasn't any gap in when they were being shown?
Yes. I know. Again, we don't know why they did certain things. And we've seen them take breaks before, like pretty lengthy breaks mid-season.
Right.
And it seems like they took January off, I believe, from airing shows in 1980. So I don't know if that was because of the strike. They were trying to play catch up, or if that was just a planned break. But yeah, it doesn't seem to have like greatly affected things in any big way. And I know, so this is where the conflicting information comes in, is that in Jim's Red Book, which is the blog where they break down Jim's journal, it says that right after the strike ended on October 22nd, they got right back to work on the 28th to produce the Dizzy Gillespie episode, which if you go onto the Dizzy Gillespie page on Muppet Wiki, it says it was produced October 28th. But if you go to the list of Muppet Show episodes page, which is like every Muppet Show episode in a row, and order them by production date, the Dizzy Gillespie episode says it was produced in like July 1979. So that would have been before the strike. I don't know. And the last time I tried to edit something on Muppet Wiki, it got reversed, even though I was right. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Matt's calling out Muppet Wiki.
There was just something I was looking up about a Fraggle Rock episode or something that was like, oh, you said episode 13 aired after episode 14. Clearly that's not true. So I think you had a typo where it says July 3rd. It should say July 13th. And so I just went in and was like, bloop, and changed it. And they were like, no, you're wrong. And I was like,
what are you afraid of, Muppet Wiki? Come on.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm not going to touch it. I'll let somebody else figure that out. But just wanted to throw that out there that the strike has now been settled. So getting into the Crystal Gayle episode, which Sam mentioned, aired in mid-October 1979. Sam, how many stars would you give this episode?
I would give this episode 2.5 stars, Matt.
Well, that's precisely the exact same number of stars I gave it in my notes.
We're in sync now. We've been doing this for long enough, me and you.
I also think season 4 is a very meh kind of season so far. I think there's some standout sketches, some standout episodes so far, but overall the vibe has just been kind of like, this is okay.
Yeah, I feel like I maybe said this last time. I think I did. That the edges are sanded off a little bit for good and bad. I said this exact same thing last time.
Yeah.
That continues into this one where there is nothing that's giving me like secondhand embarrassment except for that extremely racist sketch in the next episode.
Well, we've also got a pretty racist sketch in this episode, so don't worry about that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what to expect at this point with the Muppet Show.
Yeah. Again, there are standouts, but there are also moments where it feels a bit like coasting almost like, okay.
But I think when we're going to get good episodes, we're going to get great episodes.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think a lot of this depends on the guest star. And I think for me, Crystal Gayle was not one of my favorite guest stars. It also, starts off on the wrong foot where we have a cold open that ends with someone looking at the camera and laughing and saying, I don't understand it either.
Yeah. Not a hard joke to understand, Crystal. Come on.
No, and it was a pretty good joke. Like we have Scooter come in to do his regular, 15 seconds to curtain. And she's like, Scooter, will you help me go over my lines? And they redo exactly the lines they just said.
Yeah.
Pretty good joke. And instead of ending it there, they decided to add a couple seconds of her looking at the camera and saying, I didn't understand what I was doing either. And it's like, why not? Like, anytime they rely on that joke format of, I don't understand it either, folks, it's always after a very easy to understand joke.
Maybe you just got to put a little punctuation mark on it. And I don't know, I don't know if you can cut from that joke to I don't know. I guess you can. Everybody's laughing. Everyone's having a good time.
Leave them wanting more, Sam.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Speaking of Muppet Show jokes, this is a slight detour. We got tweeted about this. Apparently, on a recent episode of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, he referenced one of his favorite Muppet Show jokes, which is apparently, the at the dance format, because he was having a conversation with his band leader or something, and they were talking about Franklin. I'm not sure if they were talking about Benjamin Franklin. I didn't get the whole context in the clip, but he stopped and he was like, hey, ask me if I like Franklin. And he's like, do you like Franklin? He's like, I don't know. I've never Frankled. And he kind of laughed and he's like, I heard that joke on the Muppet Show in 1977 and I thought it was the funniest joke I've ever heard.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. And nobody else in the room thought it was nearly as funny as he did when he made that reference. But I was like, hey, that's a really deep cut.
Have us on, Stephen Colbert. We'll talk. We'll think your jokes are funny.
Yeah, we'll laugh at your joke that we didn't even enjoy when the Muppets made it.
I think I liked it. I do remember you being a little stinker about it.
It's just not my favorite little joke format they ever did.
Yeah.
But getting back to this episode, another thing that didn't really set it up for success is the pigs are the opening number. And what are the...
Wouldn't you know it? They're back at it, the racism once again.
What a surprise. The pigs are a racist opening musical number.
Yeah.
It's what they do. This time, geez, I don't even know how to describe this thing.
I gotta say, could have been much worse. In terms of like the scene that they set.
Yeah, it's almost like they're like daring you to call it racist because they're like, what? We're in a German pub. Well, how is this racist in the way it was traditionally racist? Yeah. Kermit introduces them and says, this is not from East Germany or West Germany. It's from South Germany.
Yeah. Which, before I knew what song it was, I was like, oh, they're going to do like a fun jug band song in this style or something like that.
Nope.
They could have done Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee. That would have been good, right?
That song did not exist for another like 20 years.
That song originated from this sketch on the Muppet Show.
Yeah, written by Frank Oz, Chattahoochee. I mean, Chattahoochee's a pretty Muppety word.
It is, yeah.
But unfortunately, no, we can dance around it all we want. But this sketch is a performance of the song Swanee, which was apparently the biggest song of 1920, where it maybe should have stayed. But instead, continued to be popular for the next like 25 years, thanks to Al Jolson, famous blackface wearer, Al Jolson, who performed this song, I believe, originally in a Broadway play, which I don't remember the name of at this moment, but also
it was called Sinbad.
Well, I think it was, he performed it in Sinbad, where he was in blackface, and he performed it in other movies later on into the 40s, also still in blackface, performing this number. I
think this record was like the first hit record also, or something like that. Like,
yeah, it's kind of wild to, I think you could watch this sketch and not really at first glance catch on what's happening.
Yeah.
But there's certain words and inflections while the pigs are singing that you're like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And it turns out these lyrics are just reeking of appropriation and stereotyping of like black culture. And it's not great. But then we do get the delightful Prairie Dog Glee Club hanging out in the canteen where Gladys no longer is. Unfortunately.
Is the canteen still even there?
It's hard to tell. We get like a side little glimpse of it, but it is not being treated really as a canteen right now. It's more of a rehearsal space, which we've seen it treated as that in the past as well. But we haven't seen it in a little bit. And also, no more Gladys working there. So she's been fired, presumably, possibly murdered.
No.
I remember we came up with some scenario that I don't really remember right now where she was offed from the Muppet Show.
Why she disappeared. I forgot about that.
I think we said Miss Piggy might have murdered her.
Who knows? I say a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't remember half the things we say on this podcast.
But I was happy to see him back. They're in the Roy Rogers episode, right?
I think that's the one where they're popping up out of their holes and singing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun to see him back and fun to see Scooter kind of being their little boss. Yeah,
and we'll see them at least a couple more times on the Muppet Show. I don't think this season, but I think next season we will see them pop up. And they'll stick around a little bit, both in like actual Prairie Dog Glee Club form, but also those puppets will be reused for years and years, and heavily inspire the more current Joe the Legal Weasel puppet, who I don't believe is one of the actual Prairie Dog puppets, but very clearly inspired by them.
But certainly is the same pattern as them.
Yeah. And then we get my sleepy moment, Sam.
Oh, no.
We get Crystal Gayle singing River Road, walking in front of that same set they've been using recently, more for like UK spots and stuff, where someone's just singing a song while they're on a walk.
Oh, this is the dog walking one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And she's just kind of bobbing up and down because clearly the background doesn't move fast enough for her to be convincingly walking in front of it. And it's about running away from home, and
she's really bad at fake walking, I gotta say.
Yes, no, it's not
hard
very
to fake
convincing.
walk, I guess
You're doing it right now.
Am I doing it?
I mean, your background isn't moving at all, so it looks even less convincing than Crystal Gayle's.
Yeah,
but it is the moment that I turned the episode off at twice because
did you fall asleep? Like literally?
I didn't literally fall asleep, but I was watching this in bed like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and it was very clearly the moment where I was like,
the rhythmic bobbing of Crystal Gayle,
lulling me to sleep.
You.
Yeah. I was like, I should shut this off and go to bed because I am not going to remember what I'm watching if I keep going.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a nice little song. It just is kind of, come on. And this also, like these episodes, especially with Dudley Moore, after coming off of the Muppet movie where there's so many skits and off of Sesame Street where there's so many skits, I was really noticing how just like totally music based the Muppet Show is, which is not, I don't know. I don't love that.
I enjoy it in, I guess, when it's well paced and like feels natural for the guests, or when they're not just singing. Like, I don't know. For this was one where I'm like, this could be like a UK spot. You could just toss this aside and no one's going to miss this number.
The alternative to that, though, is Shields and Yarnell. So I don't know. Maybe I just can't be happy.
Yeah. But then we get the reveal of Kermit's nude body as the prairie dogs steal his collar. Turns out Kermit's neck is what makes him mostly nude, I guess.
Yeah. Scooter's like, gee, boss, I've never seen you naked before, which is good. Not something you should say to your boss, probably. But
yeah. But we've referenced it here, and Kermit's referenced it in past appearances, that he usually works in the nude. So there's certain levels of nakedness for Kermit that he is not embarrassed by. If he's just wearing his collar, he can acknowledge that he is naked, but that's fine, apparently, for everyone around. But the moment that collar comes off, he is really embarrassed.
He's just a wreck.
Yeah.
Which I didn't buy. Did you buy it?
Not really. Yeah, I don't, like, get it. I enjoy the joke of it, but there's been so many references previously to him being naked that I think I've already thought of him as nude. So if this was the first time this was happening and the first time we were referencing Kermit being nude, I think it would have landed a bit more, but it's not.
And his collar, like, it just reads so much as like part of his body that it doesn't, there's nothing closey about it. So the whole time when he was embarrassed by that, it just felt contrived, like he was pretending to be embarrassed. Though he did look great with his little feather boa on.
Yeah, and he got a nice little feather boa at one point, wearing a bag over his head.
He looks very funny with the bag over his head, too. That maybe would have been a look that they could have stuck with for the episode.
But after he gets his collar stolen, we get Beauregard, our favorite.
Did you notice in the background that he's, like, preparing to go into her dressing room?
Oh, in the previous little segment? I did not notice
passes
that.
him by, and he's like, going to talk to her, but she ignores him and just walks right past him. And then he's like standing outside of his door, like outside of the door, like scratching his chin and being nervous, and then knocking on the door, and then it picks up. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's good. I always like the little continuity moments because so much of these feel so like a non sequitur to the thing that's happening next.
Less and less than they used to. Early episodes
absolutely,
were just
yeah.
like, what is happening?
I think that was maybe the Jack Burns-iness of the show, of just like, here's some funny stuff all happening back to back.
Yeah.
They don't need to connect.
Love it. Yeah.
But then, when Beauregard is hanging out with Crystal, it's not much of anything. He asks for an autograph. She hands it to him. It's upside down.
Boring.
She turns it over,
boring,
and he's amazed.
Nobody deserves to have to share a scene with Beauregard.
But then we get Darth Nader's first appearance on The Muppet Show.
So he comes back for the Mark Hamill episode.
Yes, Darth Nader will appear in the Star Wars episode of The Muppet Show.
I was surprised to see him.
Yeah, I didn't realize, actually, that his first appearance was before The Muppet Show, or before the Star Wars episode of The Muppet Show. I thought he would have been created for that purpose, but apparently not. We have Gonzo disguised as Darth Nader. Looks just like Darth Vader, but with a big Gonzo nose, for those who haven't seen him before.
Which has a great reveal because he's face forward for a lot of it, and then when he turns around, he's got the big nose, and it's like, who could possibly be behind that mask?
Yeah. But yeah, I liked, I like this. There's a few things about this Pigs in Space that I do think help it be one of my more favorite Pigs in Space, but I also think it doesn't really go anywhere.
No.
But there's a few fun facts you learn. One, apparently Link's mom travels with them on the swine trek because he calls
for
his
emotional
mom.
support whenever he's very scared.
Yeah. And Gonzo has a chicken stormtroopers who can come in and help rough up the swine trek crew. But yeah, I like this. It made me think of potentially doing a Darth Nader Halloween costume sometime in the future.
Oh, that'd be good. That's basically what I got you for your birthday too, right?
Yeah, you got me a little Darth Nader
Actual
figure.
Darth Nader. Yeah. Pigs in Space is definitely growing on me.
Yeah, since they've moved away from just like the misogynistic tone of the entire thing, it's definitely getting better, and I see why people sort of like have a nostalgia like love for it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to need to do a good handful of more episodes like this to get me to say I like it.
The Mama one was pretty good too.
That's true. Yeah, I think they're on track. They just need to keep incorporating things that look like Star Wars things, and I will like
And
it.
then they'll have Matt in their palm of their hand.
Yeah.
He's an easy man.
You give me Star Wars mixed with Muppets, I'm happy.
Who'd be Boba Fett in this world?
Ooh.
I know that there must be a toy of somebody as Boba Fett. It's got to be Beaker, right? His head would fit in the helmet.
It is, but I'm picturing Rolf as more of a Boba Fett.
Whoa. Okay, I can see that. I think he would be like a Book of Boba Fett for sure. Oh, it's Animal in the toys.
No, that's a poor choice.
That doesn't read right to me.
No.
Scooter is Lando. That makes sense for some reason. Because he would sell out his friends to Darth Vader.
I mean, so some of these make sense. If we're looking at we're looking now at the Star Wars Muppets crossover figures, which Sam got me a few of for my birthday last year. I got the Uncle Deadly as the Emperor and Gonzo as Darth Nader. But yeah, they have Kermit as Luke and Piggy as Leia.
You got it. I mean, that's just default, which doesn't really make the most sense. But
no, it doesn't really track if you want to talk about.
I think Kermit would be Yoda.
No, he's not old and wise enough.
He's wise-ish.
No, see, it depends on the era of Muppets we're talking about, too, because we could unfortunately have Brewster as Yoda if we go to an earlier era of the Muppets.
Yeah. That's disgusting, though.
But yeah, I understand the choice to make Fozzie Chewbacca, but I don't know. I don't feel like some of the personalities match
Animal's
quite as well.
Chewbacca.
That's what I'm thinking. And they have Sam the Eagle as Obi-Wan, which I guess they just view him as the older one to look up to. I don't know. I want all these figures, but I don't know.
Yeah, they're fun. I think Bunsen and Beaker. So Beaker is C-3PO and Bunsen is R2-D2.
Which is very funny if you think about their personalities versus R2-D2 and C-3PO.
Yeah.
They are the opposite.
I feel like they'd be the opposite, right?
Yeah. The one who beeps and doesn't speak English normally, maybe that's R2-D2.
Yeah.
But their body shapes, I guess, just align more.
Their body plans are, yeah, that's true. But come on. You got to make some sacrifices.
Yeah. But Link Hogthrob as Han Solo. Perfect.
That is perfect. He looks great trapped in that carbonite. Is that the only version of you can get?
No, they have a normal Han Solo Link Hogthrob as well.
Yeah, that is very good.
There's a lot of very good Muppets figures out there. The Palisades figures that came out, which was like Muppet Show figures, all look great.
You want to know something I've never told you that I don't think? I have every single one of those.
You have every single one of those?
Yeah.
What the hell? You have the Jim Henson one?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like my white whale of figure collecting.
They're in storage right now, but
wow.
I have to go get them because my brother says he's gonna throw them away if I don't come get them.
I was gonna say, don't let him do that. They are worth a lot of money.
Got them all at Sam Goody in the mall in Butte in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, you're sitting on a lot of money there if you decide to resell them. But getting back to this episode of Crystal Gayle,
anyway,
we have a UK spot featuring our Boba Fett, Rolf, and singing with a shark in the UK spot. He's singing "Hold tight, want some seafood, mama." Unfortunately, New Zealand does show up for a moment to almost ruin the sketch. But other than that, I found this delightful.
It's kind of a cute little thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to see Rolf doing something a little weird and playing piano with a lobster. Terrific.
Who gets devoured by the shark.
Twice. 2 different lobsters, I assume. If they are dying.
And Rolf's slightly concerned about...
Because they're little buddies. They're nodding at each other. He's got a whole routine worked out with these lobsters. And the shark looks great. Yeah, the shark puppet will pop up again, mostly just in season 4 of the Muppet Show. But I think also a couple times in season 5. But yeah he's a new character they're trying out this year. The shark.
The shark.
And even New Zealand, how could he resist? It would be like having a really chicken-based sketch and Gonzo didn't show up. He's got his predilections. He's going to pop up.
We then get another fish number.
Yeah, the double fish thing's a little weird, but I guess one is a UK spot.
Yeah, and this one felt more like the UK spot to me than the other one. Like this one felt more like you could have gotten rid of it for the US audience.
This one is almost exactly nothing at all.
Yep, it's a bunch of fish just singing 60 Seconds Got Together, and it's just like a barbershop quartet. But that's about it.
Not even about fish.
Nope.
They just are fish. Apparently they're named after the Mills brothers. They're called the Gills brothers.
That feels more like a Sesame Street joke to me than a Muppet Show joke.
Yeah.
Sesame Street has so many Muppets that are just like a slight twist on somebody's name for a pun.
Yeah.
And it didn't really do anything for me. I know they're going
I
to be
would've
back.
maybe
We'll see
liked
them again, but
If these guys had been on Sesame Street, maybe I would have liked them. They're kind of cute, but nothing's going on here.
then we get to see Miss Piggy's brand new dressing room for season 4. She's a giant, very pink dressing room this season. It turns out her things are also being stolen by the prairie dogs. So she's losing her wig that she uses for her Latin numbers. And just most of the things in her dressing room are disappearing.
Her underwears.
And then Fozzie, in his most competent police officer moment, has set up a sting operation to finally catch these prairie dog thieves. He is under a towel in a barbershop waiting to get a shave and a haircut while the prairie dogs are in there stealing everything the barbershop has to offer.
Singing the best things in life for free. It was very cute.
Very good. And he pops up to arrest them for their crimes. But, of course, Link comes in and ruins it. And then both of their police uniforms get stolen. And apparently they become powerless the moment that happens.
Well, yeah. If you're a police officer but you are nude, you have no abilities to arrest anyone.
That's the law.
Yeah.
You see a naked police officer, he can't arrest you.
You can do anything you want.
And then we get what I thought was a very good but weirdly placed Muppet Labs in this episode.
Yeah. Why? Because it's a little late in the episode? Like maybe the one before it should have been the last one?
Yeah, and it just has nothing to do with anything, which isn't, rare for a Muppet Labs. But I feel like we've focused so much on the prairie dogs and Kermit's nakedness in this episode that it was weird to suddenly be like, oh, yeah, we forgot to do the Muppet Labs, so we should probably do that before we go.
It was nice to see him back. It's been a bit.
Yeah. But we get a Muppet Labs where Dr. Bunsen Honeydew said he is tickled pink to announce our solution to the banana problem. And it turns out the banana problem is that when you take a banana off the bunch, you can never put it back on the bunch.
Yeah.
How do you store a banana you didn't eat, I guess?
I never thought of it that way, but damn it if he's not right.
He's solving the world's problems.
Yeah. I've got the impression that Beaker was a little bit more game in this one. He seems like he's into being the lab assistant more.
Yeah, maybe at first he sees this as...
How could anything go wrong?
Right. Bunsen has invented an electric banana sharpener.
And I'm not a banana. I'm not the size or shape of a banana.
Yeah, he's not going to stick my nose in there for any reason. But no, instead...
Or my penis.
Oh, okay. I mean, that I guess...
It probably crossed his mind. He probably wore like an extra pair of underwear, just in case.
Can't fool me, Bunsen. Not sticking my junk in the banana sharpener, as they say. But Beaker does almost end up getting killed because Bunsen decides to throw the sharpened bananas like knives, almost impaling Beaker's head.
Yeah, like almost killed in an unpleasant way, not even a fun way.
Yeah, no.
Just stabbed in the eye.
Yeah, like seeing him like get zapped or set on fire and stuff sometimes, like you're like, okay, that's kind of funny. If he had just got a banana through the eye, we would have not have believed that he could survive
something
that.
Freddy Krueger would do to you, So surely if you're scared of bananas, he'd be throwing sharp bananas at you.
While making some potassium joke.
Yeah. Wait, I almost got it. Something about appeal.
Oh, okay.
Does this appeal to you, bitch? And then banana right through the eye. And then he might go, waka waka.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger saying waka waka.
Then this next one, I don't know what to think of this one. This one almost put me to sleep.
Yeah, Crystal Gayle is performing on a ghost pirate ship, the song We Must Believe in Magic, which is a song apparently just about, don't lose that childhood wonder of believing and imagining things. But she's surrounded by ghosts.
Yeah,
and,
weird ghosts too.
They're
like Medusa and old men and stuff.
Yeah, and they're creepy in that Ghost of Christmas Past from the Muppet Christmas Carol kind of way, where they're just kind of floating in water looking, and it's very unsettling. And I feel like the song doesn't match the tone of the sketch, and it felt very, very 70s to me.
The crew of the Alpha Centauri. What the hell does that mean? That's who the ghosts are called. What?
Yeah, because the Alpha Centauri, I believe, is either the name of the ship or where they're headed in the song. They mention that. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Weird.
And not in an enjoyable way.
It's weird in a way that I assume the Jim Henson Hour is going to be weird. Like, he's starting to be that way. He's starting to be like, let's just get weird and mystical.
I feel like he's always been that way. He's just holding it back. and it leaks out at certain times.
Yeah. Jerry Joel just keeps being like, Jim, it has to be funny.
Yeah.
We
This
can't
does
just
not have
ghosts
broad
floating
appeal.
around. Yeah. And then he's like, I'll show you, Jerry. I'm going to make Labyrinth the most boring movie ever.
Wow. Get to know Sam's feelings on the Labyrinth before we get to that episode.
Okay. Well, maybe I like it better when I watch it again, but
We'll
but
find
this
out
one
in like a
felt
year or whatever.
yeah. This one felt dangerously close to the Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal territory. We're getting there.
Getting some creepy crawly creatures.
Yeah.
But then this episode wraps up with everyone being naked, apparently. Scooter comes out. He's not wearing any clothes. Gonzo's in his underwear. They rip some of Crystal Gale's clothes off.
They just rip her whole dress off.
Yeah.
At the end. She's in her bloomers.
Yeah. So, a little unsettling.
Yeah.
Specifically, seeing the Scooter puppet not wearing a jacket or shirt or anything was kind of very odd.
Did he have a tank top on? I don't remember.
No, he was just fully nude.
He's just naked. I see him now.
Yeah.
You don't see him from the waist down, so you can assume that none of them have underwear on.
There's also a cute moment where one of the prairie dogs comes out wearing Kermit's collar during that end segment where they're all naked.
Oh, I see him, yeah.
Yeah, he scurries out wearing Kermit's collar.
Oh, this episode was so close to being cute and good.
Yeah, something about it, though, just sort of missed.
Yeah. Put old Matt to sleep.
But next up, we have a much more exciting episode in the Kenny Rogers episode, which I gave 3.5 stars.
Matt, would you believe that
What?
I gave it 3.5 stars too?
Look at us. Fully in
I had
sync
4
here.
stars, but then I scratched one out at the last minute. It's like, I can't in good conscience give this one 4 stars.
Yeah, it's got a little, there's some racist things happening throughout the episode.
Yeah.
And they even dive deep into it in one sketch. And so it's just a real bummer because it taints an otherwise great episode. But yeah, the things I even texted you about this, Sam, my amazement in watching this episode, that Kenny Rogers was 40 years old when he made this episode.
Now, why is that so amazing to you?
Because he looks 65.
He does.
The fact that he is the same age as Chris Evans is right now, and Ben Schwartz is
That one, when you
right
texted
now.
me, I was like, Ben Schwartz is quite the slight little man.
Ben Schwartz looks like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And now you have Kenny Rogers coming in looking 65, and they're the same age.
Yeah. And then I imagine Kenny Rogers trying to do the little dance moves and stuff that Ben Schwartz can do, and just throwing his back out and falling to the floor immediately.
I think the one benefit of looking so old when you're young is that Kenny Rogers looks like this forever.
He looks the same.
Until later in his life, he had a lot of plastic surgery done. So he started to look a little different. But this is my image of Kenny Rogers, even in the 90s, is this man. And so the fact that he looked like this for at least 20 years, I'm like,
great.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, he looked 60 forever. And so I think there's something to that where, I guess. But yeah, sort of wild when I realized he was only 40 years old in this episode.
He's so funny in this episode, too, because I feel like he gets so many more lines than guest stars usually do.
And he plays an interesting role.
Do us a favor.
Yes.
It's like he knows all of them. He's there. This is a Splinter universe where he just is there every week.
He's just one of the crew.
Yeah.
And not in the way that we've talked about in the past where some people like Gilda Radner feel like they should be a part of the crew.
Yeah.
He just feels like maybe he was friends with George the janitor or something and he got a job at the Muppet Theater.
Yeah.
He's their handyman maybe at the Muppet Theater.
Oh, and they're like, well, Kenny can sing. Let's put Kenny on stage.
Yeah. I do wish, he would maybe have done more with the Muppets because he fits right in bizarrely. Yeah. But yeah, and this episode does open with a cold open that is racist, followed by a look to camera. So the absolute worst recipe for a cold open.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But it's such an interesting idea, and it's exactly a thing from The Simpsons. So I was like, aha, I like this.
Yeah, no, it is one of those things where the concept sounds great on paper, and then the execution, not great.
If JP Gross had been there being like, yeah, son, this is my oil rig, see? That would have been much better.
Yeah, if you leaned into more like the Texas oil baron kind of thing.
Give JP a really big hat.
Yes, the biggest hat.
Yeah.
But this episode opens up after the intro song with Miss Piggy coming out to introduce the show because she is in a circus ringleader costume to introduce Kermit, who has apparently agreed to be part of a trapeze act.
Because they're in love now. Kermit would do anything for Piggy at this point.
So Kermit does a trapeze act with, for some reason, trusting Beauregard, the strongest man in the world, to push him.
The strongest and dumbest man in the world.
Yeah, so he pushes him way too hard, and Kermit falls and twists his flipper, and everyone's very concerned as they crawl around on the floor in very awkward poses.
They all are crawling on the floor.
Well, they had this idea clearly to have them, like, Kermit fall on his stomach, and so the puppets are positioned in a way that they are not normally, where the hole on the stage has to like be in a weirder position, and so everyone, like Piggy and Gonzo, have to like crawl in on their bellies to make it sort of make sense, and everyone just looks a little awkward.
And Gonzo's not in the scene at all up until he like army crawls over. It's just like, you're just laying on the floor over there or something.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
But it makes sense to have Gonzo sort of be the one overseeing this, because
That's true.
this does seem
He's
like a
their stunt
Gonzo type act.
coordinator. But I love when they just wing that Kermit puppet at the wall.
Yeah, no, it's weird to think about, you know, taking one of these things that would belong in the Smithsonian these days and just tossing it around and seeing what happens. Then once we get backstage and everyone's trying to take care of Kermit, this is the first moment where we get to see a delightful Kenny Rogers show up. And Kermit instructs Kenny to like take charge and get something out on stage.
Yeah.
And so Kenny sends Zoot out to play saxophone on stage. And
hey, Zoot, do us a favor. Go out there and play something.
yeah, and also says, I'm going to go grab an ice pack for Kermit.
It's so weird.
But it's very sweet.
It is being so nice to the Muppets.
And we do get to hear in the background, we hear Zoot starting to play the saxophone. So we know that he actually took the order. He went and did it, as opposed to sometimes on the Muppet Show, we'll talk about something happening on stage, but we don't actually get to watch it happen.
Yeah.
So we hear
or
it
people
happen.
just don't listen to Kermit and don't do what he says.
That is very true.
I wonder if Kenny Rogers knew Zoot's name was Zoot, or if they had to be like, this is Zoot. What do you think?
It's so hard to know because this show was so popular in the 70s that it feels like something that people may have just known. But if he didn't, he is much more convincing at selling it than other people have been when they're like, hello, Floyd Pepper. So I think he does a great job of acting like he knew Zoot beforehand. Yeah. But as Zoot wraps up his saxophone playing, Fozzie comes out to introduce the next act, which is, you know, not great.
No, and Kermit is even like, I have a great idea for an act based on the fact that I'm hurt.
Yeah, he's like, keep me in the hospital bed. We'll turn this into a thing. But what starts off as a delightful little number where they're singing, put the lime in the coconut and something, 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 turns into, you know, it just like has a racism knob that slowly gets turned up and up throughout the sketch. Until they're like fully like supposed to be in Africa with a witch doctor and stereotypical Muppets dancing around in a
bone through the nose kind of thing.
Yes.
You'd hope they would have learned some lessons along the way, but they never did.
Yeah, all the work and research they did for the Harry Belafonte episode just out the window.
Yeah.
I like that Kermit gets to be part of the show in a way that he is not normally. Like, that is one of the things I really like about this episode, is that Kermit gets to be in sketches. He's in this one a lot. Yeah. And we usually just see him backstage ordering people around. So to see him more involved and singing and being a part of these things is great. It's just unfortunate that most of the times he is involved with things, there's some racism on the side.
And this one would have been so easy just to not do it this way.
Yeah. It's not even like the I Told the Witch Doctor song.
No.
This is just the lime in the coconut. Like, you could just have a normal doctor there talking to him.
Yeah.
We get a couple of Muppet news flashes in this episode.
They disconfirm a theory of mine. Deconfirm that the Muppet News thing is not happening in the studio. Because Muppet Newsman makes his first backstage appearance, I believe, after one of these, right?
I don't think that's true. I think we disproved that theory long ago when I think it was maybe the Steve Martin episode. The newsman's just hanging out in the audience.
Oh, right. That's true.
But yes, we get to see another delightful Kermit falling to his death moment, because it turns out that the hospital beds that were made have the pop-up toaster parts in them. And so the hospital bed that he was just laying in, which apparently was created by Muppet Labs, which is surprising that Bunsen and Beaker are actually trying to do good for the world.
I suppose, and also they have products out on the open market too.
Yeah, like that's maybe how the Muppets actually make money, is Bunsen and Beaker are creating these products to sell them to hospitals and other businesses.
And maim people.
Maybe not on purpose.
Maybe not on purpose.
Well, they said they were recalling them, so presumably they are trying to make usable products that don't harm people. We get to meet a new Muppet this episode, Sam. It's Foo-Foo. who continues to be around until today and surprisingly will be our Muppet of the Week this week.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Is Miss Piggy's dog. Fufu's just kind of always around from now on. But we'll talk more about Fufu later. I do like that Robin not only introduces the next sketch, but refers to himself as the heir apparent.
Yes.
And Kermit even calls out from like the side of the stage, like, Robin!
It is a kind of a delightfully little mischievous moment for him.
Yeah. Like, well, if Kermit dies, I get the show.
I don't even know if I guess that would be true. I don't know if it would pass down to his closest kin.
I feel like Fozzie would have something to say about that.
I think him and Fozzie would have a big falling out.
Mm.
There'd be two different versions of the Muppet Show on like two different sides of the street. Fozzie's Muppet Show, Kermit's Muppet Show, and everyone would have to decide which side they wanted to be on.
I mean, I think that's if you're like thinking like a worst case scenario, like a way to reboot the Muppet Show. Kermit has died, and they need to pick up the pieces and figure out how to carry on.
That's so sad.
Oh yeah, it's the worst possible version, but I think there's at least interesting stories to be told there.
Maybe he could just be in a coma.
I feel like that's somehow sadder because you're just like you have the hope that he's gonna wake up.
Yeah, but he never does.
Wow, we took that dark, and we're gonna continue to keep it dark because the next sketch includes a man's death. Kenny Rogers is performing his famous song, The Gambler, on a train with a few creepy old men puppets. And during the sketch, for some reason, Jerry Nelson is not singing the lines of The Gambler.
No, even though he's a nice singer.
Yeah, he's a great singer. He chooses to talk sing these ones as the gambler dies and turns into a dancing ghost man.
A full human body with a little Muppet head, just like Muppet Musicians of Bremen. It was very shocking that he stood up to be an entire human being to me.
Well, and they're performed in the way, if you remember the old Weimaraner dog sketches from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Where you have just two dogs sitting there and then the human hands doing things.
Yeah.
They're like that, where you can see two human hands and you know a third human hand of somebody's is controlling the head behind those train seats. But it doesn't make it any less creepy.
No.
But we just watch a man pass away on this train car right in front of us.
Yep. And then Kenny's kind of like, it's good that he's dead to a certain extent. It feels very jubilant. But I guess his life was bad. For some reason, I remember this one from when I was a kid. I probably saw it on Disney Channel or something. But I was looking forward to seeing it again. And it was creepier than I remember because I only remembered it being him and the gambler. I didn't remember there just being two extraneous old men there, which seemed unnecessary to me. When there's so many people around when he dies, it's more like somebody should get up and tell someone. And less like this was a private moment between the two of us and his death was kind of the
We all knew this
conclusion.
was happening, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Is that guy dead? Yeah. Oh, well, nothing we can do about
It's
it.
pretty old. It's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those sketches that you could show people maybe separate from the rest of the episode to show them what the Muppet Show can do at its best.
Yeah.
To show like, oh, look, they can do somewhat more adult oriented things on this show. That's not like the kids show you might think it is if you've never watched it. And so I wouldn't say this episode is the best episode to show somebody. Same with the Crystal Gayle episode. Don't show anyone that episode as their first episode. But this sketch pulled out of the episode might be great to show people.
Yeah. And I love when they integrate Muppets into a song like this in like an interesting way. They think about it more than just like, there's a Muppet there.
Yeah. Well, especially when you have like often they're trying to reach for the metaphor and trying to find the story in a song that maybe doesn't have it as obviously.
Yeah,
but The Gambler
yeah.
is a song that is a story. So it's very easy to translate into an actual act.
Yeah. Does Jimmy Buffett ever go on Muppets Tonight?
Oh, I don't think so, but that'd be great.
That would have been great, right? I know he sings a song with Kermit. He sings Caribbean Amphibian with Kermit.
That's pretty good.
as like a Muppet or as like a Disney Channel short or something like that. But I was just thinking like a Margaritaville with Muppets. That would be terrific. There'd be so many lobsters hopping around.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett only appears with Gonzo and Rizzo on the Kermit Unpigged album and performs
okay.
Mr. Spaceman.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he shows up on Elmo-Palooza to perform Caribbean Amphibian.
Oh, it's a
with
Sesame
Kermit.
Street thing.
Yeah, but he's with Kermit.
Okay. Missed opportunity there.
But yeah, it was also interesting in that sketch to, there's references to drinking whiskey and smoking cigarettes and.
I mean, they drink whiskey and smoke cigarettes.
Yes,
not even references.
That is
to.
true. Yeah, two things that you would not, naturally associate with the Muppet Show.
Yeah, everybody was smoking in the 70s. That was fine.
And then we have the Veterinarian's Hospital sketch, which thankfully did have Kermit in it, which makes total sense for the episode and would have been weird had they not done it.
But I wouldn't put it past them. I don't really remember any of this Veterinarian's Hospital, though, do you?
There's not much of a joke there, if I remember
It's
correctly.
Just Piggy being really worried about Kermit.
Yeah. I did enjoy, after this, we get another Kenny Rogers being concerned about Kermit moment. So he's still very concerned about his safety and hoping he's okay, which is you know, a nice little through line.
You don't want to see a little guy get hurt no matter who he is or how nasty he is like Kermit.
Then we have Kermit coming in on crutches, much as was predicted in the Muppet movie.
Oh, yeah.
Little frogs walking around on crutches. But here they are going to introduce Gonzo's big stunt with his giant catapult.
His real working catapult, it seems like.
Yeah. And Kermit introduces him saying that he is going to catapult himself heavenward and skywrite the Hallelujah chorus. And then, Kermit and Piggy are the ones who end up getting catapulted.
He should have known what was coming. Kermit should not have been out there.
No, yeah. You feel like at this point, he is like, my luck's been pretty bad today. Maybe I should step aside and not get near the very dangerous thing.
I'm also quite hurt. It's inappropriate for you to ask me for help, Gonzo.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? I'm on crutches here. What do you want me to do?
Man, I love this, seeing all of Gonzo up on stage with this huge catapult.
Yeah, there's so many times I am, wondering what this set looked like if you just pull the camera back a little bit and start to see some humans in the context of how, what the set looks like. Because often they'll do these things where the set and the box seem to be, pretty near each other. Other times it seems pretty far away from each other. And just trying to understand the scale of these things is sort of hard to wrap your head around.
I bet it's all way tinier than you'd think it would be.
That's the thing is, we see moments of Roy Clark or Gene Stapleton walking out on the stage to perform.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look too much smaller than a normal
I think that's
stage.
the same one that they use for...
I don't know. I'm curious.
Huh. It's too bad that there aren't just videos of big set tours and stuff like that.
Well, I think when we watch Of Muppets and Men, we will definitely have
get some of that.
Yeah, we'll have more context than we've ever had.
Maybe the Jim Henson documentary will have some of that too.
I mean, that's a ways away. They just announced that. And it's probably at least 4 years away.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll still be around.
Yeah, we'll still be maybe not caught up yet, but we'll be probably watching that.
We'll be watching Elmo on the Rosie O'Donnell show.
Yeah, we'll be in the middle of 1994, and we'll be like, I guess it's time to talk about the Jim Henson documentary that just came out.
And then Rosie shot the koosh balls at the audience.
But yeah, we won't be talking about Of Muppets and Men until the end of season 5 of the end of the Muppet Show, and then we will watch the documentary and have all of these questions answered for us, hopefully. But to wrap up the episode, we have Kenny Rogers coming back out to perform Love Lifted Me, which is just a hymn. It's church time here on the Muppet Show. It seems weird that Lubbock Lou and the Jughuggers aren't around.
I was thinking the same thing. Lou's even in the background.
Mm-hmm.
The female Lou is even in the background, but some new country band comes out.
Yeah, it's very odd that they're not utilized as much. But yeah, then as Sam alluded to earlier, the plot of the Saudi oil barons doesn't really wrap up and go anywhere. It just kind of turns out...
It cuts to them and everything's rumbling and they're like, this one's a gusher. And then you think everyone's going to get obliterated by a wall of oil or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, how are they going to do this? They're going to destroy every Muppet with this, but nothing happens.
Nope, just shakes and rumbles.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, again, some shining lights through the darkness that is some of that episode.
The grim racism of the 70s.
Yeah.
And today, it still exists out there.
Yeah, there are, I'm sure, people who watch this episode and have no problem with some parts of it.
Also, at the end, the ghost of the old creepy man comes out again.
Well, yeah, he's there forever now. He's stuck in that theater, Sam.
Oh, that's true. Poor guy. You think when you die, a Muppet ghost? Huh.
I'm very curious where this question is going.
I can't think of it all the way. So when the old men came out, I was thinking of my theory that there's an X gene that makes you into a Muppet when you're born. And I was wondering if these old men were born old men heads on a baby body.
Almost in a Benjamin Button kind of way.
Yeah.
Where they're an old, a full-size old man Muppet head with a little tiny baby body. And eventually their body is just aging into old mandom.
To match their head.
And when it finally syncs up, they die.
Right. And they're the only Muppets who die.
So the moment they're born, the other Muppets look around oh no.
We got one of these.
Oh,
The old men who die Muppets. They couldn't even be the old men who never die Muppets like Statler and Waldorf.
Speaking of, I noticed in this batch, and maybe it was present in the last batch, Statler and Waldorf got some updated puppets.
Yeah, especially Waldorf
Yeah.
was way different.
Waldorf looks a lot better and more like I remember him as opposed to his like early to mid 70s Muppet. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
I like them in this episode. I'm back on Team Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
I like them in this batch.
Yeah, they're not annoying me, but they're definitely they're back. I think like we had a small gap in time where they weren't using them as much, and they're definitely back in full force now. Then it's time for the Dudley Moore episode. How many stars you give this one, Sam?
This is Matt, guaranteed a 5-star Sam Schultz episode.
I gave this one 4, so we're not entirely in sync on this one, but
Okay.
I think we both really enjoyed this episode. It's worth noting we will see Dudley Moore a couple more times in watching things for this podcast. He will appear in the 1981 TV special The Muppets Go to the Movies, where he will be the racist one this time.
Great.
And in 1989, he will be in Miss Piggy's Hollywood, where I
Great.
don't know if he's racist or not.
Well, I hope he's not.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, this episode sees the introduction of one of my favorite Muppets and some of my least favorite Muppets we've ever seen.
Is it the bugs?
I don't like the bugs, Sam.
They seem like they were trying for something they just didn't get there.
And I can respect that. I see that they are definitely trying a lot of different things with the style of these bug Muppets. Don't look like a lot of other Muppets. They have glittery bodies, which is not a thing we have seen before on other Muppets. And they're
But that's kind of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're too glittery.
I feel like they're trying to do like a new Frackle. Like they had all the Frackles
Yeah.
for Great Santa Claus Switch, and they use them in the background sometimes. And I feel like this was like a spin-off of what's the next sort of species we're going to come up with in the Muppet world. Shiny bugs was the answer.
You know what they really reminded me of? Like in the 90s, I feel like everywhere there was like alien toys that had like the shiny fabric. You know, like a lot of toys, like cheapo toys that you'd win at like the fair had like that shiny fabric on them. And they just look like cheapo toys you'd win at the fair to me, basically.
They do. They do look like that.
They're just hard to see. Like, it's hard to tell what they are. And I think if they had been made of something more traditional, they would have looked cooler or like come across as less visually confusing.
Yeah, and I like them, performing a Beatles song because they have the joke about not calling themselves the Beatles afterwards. But yeah, I think we don't really see them again. They don't really show up. I think one of them shows up in a later season 5 episode, but we don't this was their one shot and they blew it apparently.
That's sad.
Oh, the cold open in this one is Scooter goes in, as he does, to tell Dudley Moore it's time. And so Dudley Moore is trying to tune his piano. And so he asks Scooter to give him an A, to sing an A, I guess, because Scooter maybe has perfect pitch. I don't know. Dudley's banking on Scooter having perfect pitch to nail this piano tuning. And in order to get an A, Scooter shoots a gun into the sky.
He pulls out a whole pistol.
And shoots an A that falls down into Dudley's arms.
Just a big block letter A.
It feels like a weird Sesame Street sketch, when they allow guns on Sesame Street.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a word play there as an A is not a bird. I didn't get it, but that's what happened. I can't tell you why.
There's giant letters floating around off screen at all times.
Presumably.
Because he knew about them.
Yeah, because the moment Dudley asks for an A, Scooter's like, I got you, man. I'll shoot that one out of the sky. That's been bugging me for a while.
I've been looking for an excuse to use this gun.
Yeah, I just found this gun in the alley.
I thought it was funny, but it was also just it does feel like you're missing a joke, but
I don't think there's a
guess
joke
not.
there to miss. I think it's just wouldn't it be funny if Scooter shot this letter out of the sky?
And they were right.
Yeah.
It was.
But then we do get the introduction of one of my favorite Muppets, because Dudley Moore brings out Mama.
Is Mama a Muppet?
I think so. I think Mama
I guess
has
he's
to be a
gotta
Muppet.
Gotta be a Muppet.
I think any sort of puppet that appears on the Muppets is a Muppet.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Why you like Mama so much?
I think it's something about the design being clearly influenced by R2-D2, but its own sort of Muppety twist.
Stupid R2-D2.
Yeah, like a cobbled together junkyard R2-D2, along with just I don't know, it sort of reminds me of the coffee break machine era of the Muppets, where they were making these things that could explode and fall apart. And they don't really do that much more. Like they do a lot
That's
more
true.
of these
Weird
like,
machines were a big part of early Muppet stuff.
yeah. So I think I just like it a lot, and it's just one of those. It's that sort of that bridging that world between Star Wars and Muppets again in a way that I feel like I want to get like a mama tattoo, and people would think it was a Star Wars thing, but also not really know what it is because
And
they're
then
like,
you'd be like, well, actually.
yeah, I gotcha. I pulled you into my Muppet trap.
I also just really like the setup that Dudley, for no reason, has brought this robot along with him, and he thinks it's perfectly normal.
Dudley Moore, I feel like, is doing a lot with a little in this episode. Like, Dudley Moore is known to play very over-the-top, big characters in a lot of his performances. And yet, in this one, he's very subdued and
He's
very
like the
quiet.
straight man the entire time through this episode.
Yeah, but he's fully committed to the character of he loves this robot. This robot's going to change the world. And he sees no problem with that. Like,
yeah,
obviously.
and he and Kermit have like, they're in sync so well for some reason. They just both seem like the same person. Like they truly understand each other and could be best friends.
Yeah.
Just the most boring best friends in the
Oh,
world.
yeah. No, it would not be very exciting to watch. But, he introduces Mama and shows Kermit the special features, one of which is that Mama can play any kind of music, including disco, which leads into Kermit going, oh, can we use this for our next sketch that we apparently had nothing planned for? Because we want to do a disco at the dance. This at the dance, though, is just Fozzie telling all the jokes instead of the dancers telling the jokes.
Yeah, kind of would have been fun if they had been more disco-y jokes, right?
Yeah, it didn't really have anything to do with disco other than the fact that there's a disco ball and the music playing in the background. But
yeah,
it doesn't need to be disco at all.
I felt like they whiffed it a little bit. Because Fozzie's not telling disco jokes. I'm not misremembering that, right?
Nope. He's, to be fair, yes, he is actually, now that I remember.
Okay.
But they're all just like puns on disco because he says Fishgo-tech when the shark shows up.
When the shark
and he
comes
says
by.
Discow-tech when the cow shows up.
When the cow comes by. And everybody just fucking hates him. He's ruining their fun night.
But at the same time, every time they're like booing him and jeering him between jokes, he's like, yes, more. I know you want more.
Yes, you love me. You love me. He's lost his mind.
That Fozzie confidence is enviable. And then we get Dudley and Mama performing together here. He shows up to perform the Electric Mayhem, apparently not yet informed that this is happening.
Their services are no longer required.
Yeah, Dudley shows up and tells them to take 5. And in a very good joke, they start playing the jazz standard, Take 5.
Yeah.
And then Dudley's like, oh, no, guys. You are not needed here. I have this robot to do your jobs for you.
Sorry.
And yes, so he starts to perform the song Mama Don't Allow with Mama there. And the band gets increasingly pissed off at Mama and Dudley and especially Kermit for replacing them with one device as they get backstage. This is one of my favorite Floyd episodes I think we've ever seen.
Yeah. He's great. This one is very similar to the one where they go on strike because they don't want to play the theme anymore. But there's just something about a Floyd helmed backstage plot that I really like.
Yeah, when they
He's
let
so
him
indignant.
when they let him have more of a personality and like build out a story surrounding him, he really stands out in a way that typically I think you just think Floyd is just like almost like a zoot. Like he's just kind of like one of the band who's hanging out and getting high. But in
he's
this
basically, he's like their leader.
Yeah.
And he advocates for them.
And because of their interaction with Kermit, you don't get to hear Dr. Teeth
No,
chime
Dr.
in.
Keith can't do it.
But I really, really enjoyed this moment of them being upset. But what made it even better is Floyd trying to turn Rolf against Kermit as well and be like, man, us musicians got to stick together.
But Rolf is more of a coward. He's just like, I'll just quit, I guess.
Rolf's the old tired man who's like, I do not have the energy to fight this. I'm just going to bounce.
Job.
But this is one of those moments that we start to get more of again post Muppet movie where they start to feel like friends and old coworkers where I believe that Floyd and Rolf are friends. Then we get another okay Pigs in Space.
Yeah, not amazing. But we can't expect amazing from Pigs in Space.
No, never. But we have Mama showing up as a looming presence outside of the Swine Trek's window.
Yeah.
With apparently her like rockets, I guess she has now. She can fly.
Well, if R2-D2 can do it,
At this point, R2-D2 was a long ways from flying.
This is where George got the idea. He is saving that one for later.
He's watching the Muppet Show and he's like, okay, I need a little green man and a
Ding.
droid that can fly around with rockets.
Yeah,
Thank
and they
you,
were already
Jim.
making Empire. And then when he tried to do it in Return of the Jedi, it just didn't fit in anywhere. Then he was like, this is my movie now. R2-D2's going to fly over the damn place. This Pigs in Space is more what I wish earlier ones had leaned into a little bit, where Link is trying to be pompous, but everyone just knows he's a dipshit. Because it plays the dumb music for him, which is like every time in the past he was a creep, something horrible should have happened to him, or he should have been made a fool of.
Right.
So I appreciated that in this one.
Yeah, if he can be the butt of the joke every time, I'm more on board with Pigs in Space.
Because we hate men.
That's the way I should lean into. Like, he is a pig in
Yeah.
both senses of the word. And it's,
Yes, and Piggy outclasses him in every conceivable way.
yeah. And we get more Piggy in a bizarre UK
Yeah.
spot in this episode.
In retrospect, I didn't love this.
No, and Muppet Wiki says it is a parody of old films and soap operas.
Okay.
Which-
Seems like a stretch.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like... that's not apparent in the episode. If that's what they're going for, it is not very clearly laid out.
And it should have started with Piggy and Mama like working together. She should have been like, okay, I need you to set the scene for me. And then Mama does something wacky to mess it all up.
It's basically they're just like being super over dramatic about everything, which I guess is the soap opera side of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really have a great payoff. The first payoff in the middle is that her dressing room sink has stopped up, and so Kermit's like, all right, I'll get Scooter to fix that, whatever. And then when he goes to leave, Piggy will not let him leave because there's a terrible thing outside the door.
This is where it kind of lost me.
Because it just ends up being Mama,
Yeah.
which I guess maybe if Piggy was actually terrified by Mama in Pigs in Space, I guess that makes sense.
And I think you're supposed to be like assuming that they're hearing the music, but that is
Yeah.
a disconnect that you never, it's like so hard to make that connection when you're watching TV because it never is the case.
Well, and because they do that sort of thing sometimes in like veterinarian's hospital where the announcer will kick in and they'll look around like, where is that guy?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they do enough of that in this to like
Yeah.
really sell that Mama is making the music. That is
All it would take is Kermit being like, where is that music coming from?
Yeah.
It does not do that.
Then we get a brief little scene with Dudley Moore singing again in the back room with Floyd and Animal confronting him about Mama and how, you know, I feel like they're there to beat Dudley up. Again, it felt like this is one of those episodes where each character has like an actual character, like actual personality to them that you can follow throughout the episode, as opposed to just like, and now Animal does this random thing. And then we get to see Gonzo in a delightful little bomb diffusing costume. He comes out in this weird padded suit coat thing that he's wearing with a helmet and goggles to defuse the biggest bomb you've ever seen. And
like a nuclear device.
yes. And he demands silence, absolute silence from everyone, because if there's any noise, he will mess this up.
He and everyone in the building will die.
Immediately. Just this bomb will go off. Other people apparently are okay with this scenario, even though
Yeah.
Muppet Show Theater, not the quietest place in the world.
And Gonzo does not have any kind of track record of successfully doing anything.
Not once, I don't think. I think even in this batch, we see him in one of the opening theme song moments where he plays a note on his trumpet, and
Yeah. What were we
he's
expecting? Rachmaninoff?
yeah. And so, but he successfully does that, and even that is surprising that he can play the trumpet one note at a
Yeah.
time.
One note, yeah.
But of course, for some reason now, Mama has actually become somewhat menacing.
Yes, and sentient as well.
Yeah, and creeps in to the shot very slowly and plays one super loud note and destroys the stage.
And Gonzo's dead. Does Gonzo come back? Yeah, he comes back, right?
Yeah, so you see him backstage. He's very happy
Okay.
that it went this way. He was
Right.
stoked. But for a moment, you see another ragdoll puppet moment where when it explodes, they throw Gonzo.
Uh-huh.
And Gonzo, for a second, gets stuck on the Mama, like, puppet.
Right.
And then they cut to backstage, and you see Gonzo still flying into the backstage. So clearly there should have been the continued momentum there of Gonzo flying into the backstage area, but he got a little stuck.
This continues the, like, because I remember when we first started watching this, like, feeling like they just say Gonzo is a performance artist. And there are big breaks between him actually doing stuff, but I really love the big, like, they just, like, go for broke when they do Gonzo stuff. It's so much different than everything else on the Muppet Show, And it makes it feel more like when Fozzie was doing comedy every week and Gonzo was doing, and like Gonzo does his performance art stuff. I think those two things just like give it the texture between just musical acts that I kind of miss sometimes.
Yeah. No, I think it does build out the character a little bit more. And I definitely miss Fozzie doing stand-up.
Yeah. And now when he does it, it's always got a gimmick and it's not ever very funny. But I miss him and Statler and Waldorf having their big back and forths.
Well, and Fozzie in this episode is only in At the Dance. Like, that's the only time we get to see Fozzie in this entire episode.
Miss Piggy's stealing his spotlight.
Yeah, which, makes sense when you
He knew that would happen, too. That's why he hates her so much.
But now that Mama has been destroyed by Gonzo's explosion, she can only play Japanese kabuki music, apparently.
Sure.
Which is not the way Kermit wants to end the show. And so he asks the band to go back out on stage and perform with Dudley Moore to close the show out. Interestingly, he does not introduce them as the Electric Mayhem when he calls them out. He refers to them as like the Muppet House Band.
As our Muppet Band or something, yeah.
But we get a surprisingly instrumental closing number here where Dudley Moore is just playing piano with the band as bricks and things start to fall every time Animal hits the drums a little too hard.
Yeah, when they start getting a little too crazy with it, all the stuff, all the ruins of the theater start to fall on them. And I don't know why. There's just something so funny about this to me. Like, I think it was mostly Dudley just being like, trying to like make sure everybody stayed calm and being like, oh, please.
Yeah, he wasn't getting like too mad at Animal. He's just like, come on, Animal, we talked about
just
this,
a
man.
Little scared look. Like the screenshot on Muppet Wiki of his little scared face is like him throughout the this part. It's so funny.
He's also dressed exactly like Arthur, and not the Arthur that he would go on to play a couple years later.
No, like Arthur the Aardvark.
Yes. He's wearing a yellow sweater with a little white shirt poking out from underneath.
I think it's funny that Dr. Teeth is in this one too, but there is not two pianos. There's just him playing piano.
Yeah. And I feel like it's maybe it's never happened that we've just had an instrumental closing number on The Muppet Show, but it felt odd to me.
Who was a really bad episode with Barney Fife?
Don Knotts.
That one was almost like that, but it had like a punchline, I think. I don't think they sang in that one. But because they were like pumping it up the whole time that there's going to be like a really cool jazz number for the last thing.
Yeah.
But that was more of a joke. This was just actually Dudley Moore playing piano, which they lean so heavily on in this one. He's really wailing on the piano this episode.
But yeah, I think overall, pretty great episode. I like the high concept. I like Mama. I like Dudley Moore. I am a fan of the movie Arthur. Some people are not, but I really enjoy it.
I've never seen it. It's good?
So I think it is one of those things that watching it now is a little harder to find it quite as funny because it is just this man who is clearly an alcoholic.
He's got a drinking problem.
Yes, and is an asshole for a lot of the thing. But Liza Minnelli is his co-star and is a delight. And yeah, I
we'll
think
see her in a couple episodes, right?
Yeah, next week I think we're talking about Liza Minnelli's episode. But it's I think I really enjoy it. There's some very, very good one-liners in that movie. But I also completely understand somebody who may not enjoy it.
Yeah.
My wife being one of them.
Well, that's tough. You will never see that movie again.
I own it on Blu-ray.
Oh, no. You fool.
But yeah, overall, an okay batch of episodes here. But
one really good one really racist one. And one just okay one, which I feel like will be our balance. It may be less racism, hopefully, but I'm expecting a lot of really good ones and a lot of ones that put Matt to sleep.
But I promise I will rewatch them until I remember them well enough to talk about them on this podcast.
I won't tell anybody. I've dozed off through a couple skits. It's okay.
Thank you, Muppet Wiki, for reminding us what we slept through. Well, that means it's time for our Muppet of the Week.
We got to be running real low on these Muppets to do Muppets of the Week on, huh?
Well, so yes and no, because I have purposefully avoided talking about any Muppets we haven't met yet.
Right.
So we've got the Rizzos, the Pepes to talk about eventually.
The Dr. Phil Van Neuters of the world.
Precisely. But it's a while until we meet them. So while we're not getting any super new, exciting Muppets, we have to dig into the well of the Wayne and Wandas. Or we do get a new Muppet this week, just not a super exciting one.
No, not one who can speak or has any kind of personal life, I'd imagine.
Nope, not really. But it is Foo-Foo, Miss Piggy's dog. Another dog just like Muppy, who we have seen in the Muppet Show, switches between puppet and real dog.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, so we will start to see occasionally a live dog playing Fufu. And they'll switch off sort of like mid-sketch like they do often with Muppy. And yeah, there's not a lot of interesting things about Fufu, but there are a handful of interesting quotes about Fufu.
Okay.
So Fufu does make her debut, technically, production order, not this episode, in another episode we will watch soon, but this is her New York TV debut, and does continue to show up to this day, up into like Muppets Now and the 2015 series and all that stuff. You still see Fufu. Less so as a live dog these days, mostly just as a puppet.
I feel like people wouldn't stand for that anymore.
Well, and we'll get into a bit of what was going on with this live dog, and you might understand why they avoided doing that. So as far as performers go, Steve Whitmire was the main one performing Fufu back then on The Muppet Show. And telling the story of how he got the role, he said, quote, "I think getting the part was largely because Dave was going to do it, but he really didn't want to."
That's fun.
Yeah, and he referred to Fufu as kind of a prop for Miss Piggy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But later on in years, Catherine Mullen and Peter Linz would go on to perform Fufu, and I'm guessing maybe some random people as well throughout the years when they just needed somebody to act like a dog for a little bit. And, you know, a lot of times with these Muppet of the Week, I am just kind of going through the Muppet Wiki page and sharing that with you guys. But this week is, that's more true than ever, because there is not much more information out there about Fufu than exists on the Muppet Wiki page.
Yeah, the entirety of her life can be summed up in about 8 paragraphs.
Yeah, and according to the character encyclopedia, Fufu has siblings named Wee Wee, Poo Poo, Num Num, Goo Goo, and Fred.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
That's one of the first Muppet character encyclopedia things that's hit with me.
There's an entire article from 2011 in People magazine.
2011?
Yep, right when the movie was coming out.
Okay.
And the title of the article is Muppet Mess. Miss Piggy forced to choose between her dog and her frog. And so
is this like to explain why Fufu wasn't in the movie?
Yeah, I guess.
Who cares, though?
But also, the little sub-headline there is why the world's most famous and most glamorous pig had to find a new home for her poodle Fufu.
Oh, no.
So it turns out Kermit and Fufu had such a bad relationship that Piggy had to rehome Fufu for a while and put her into doggy therapy because she had a problem with anybody that was green.
Oh.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yep. And so Fufu would bark and bite at Kermit, and so Piggy chose Kermit over Fufu.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to Lena Dunham that got her canceled one of the many times she got canceled. Do you remember that?
I forgot until this very moment, but yes. Yeah, so that apparently wasn't enough to get Piggy canceled, and in 2015 on the ABC series, Fufu is back with Piggy after they had broken up, so apparently it all worked out, but yeah, kind of wild. But they did an entire article in People magazine that you can still go read if you search for that headline.
I feel like it would be a sad day to be the person assigned to write that article.
It feels like a Tough Pigs article. Like, it feels like a fake thing that someone else would write about the Muppets.
Yeah. Getting
into some of the background on Fufu and sort of why Fufu existed and how Fufu existed. Raleigh Crewson, who was a puppet designer, builder, sorry, I'm getting that credit wrong, back in the early days of the Muppets, she said on an episode of Below the Frame that the live dog was apparently the prop lady's dog. And she had worked really hard on training the dog. And then Raleigh Crewson had to match the dog Muppet style. So, like, had to build a Fufu that looked as much like a real dog as possible.
So the dog got trained first?
I guess the dog was already in training, and they decided to use this dog on the show. And they were like, well, we can't do everything with this dog, so we're going to need a Muppet version.
That's very weird. And
there's an article in the Muppet Show fan club newsletter from 1979 that says, I will just read this because it's wild. Can you tell which is the live dog and which is the puppet?
Oh, come on.
Miss Piggy's new dog Fufu is not really one puppy, but two. The one on the left, there's a picture that is accompanies this. The one on the left is a puppet, modeled on the live dog on the right.
Yeah, no shit. Is it the black and white picture?
Yeah, it's that one.
Okay.
That is the most obvious puppet
where the dog
versus
is
dog.
Like, I'm a puppet. And then the dog is like, I'm a dog.
Yeah. It continues. It took a long time to find a puppy small enough to be in scale with Miss Piggy. The live Fufu was born on December 13th, 1978.
Oh, it was a baby.
Yeah. Here's where it gets a little dark.
Oh, God.
She's a special sort of toy poodle and is one of the last 10 of her particular line.
What the hell?
A line bred down to the smallest possible size from a standard poodle.
Oh.
Fufu is still growing, and as she grows, the puppet Fufu will be rebuilt to match.
No, it won't.
When fully grown, she will still be less than 9 inches tall. Watch
What
carefully when Fufu is on the next show. If she's running around, it will probably be the live version. If she's reacting in close-up, it will probably be the puppet. But you
Making me
can't
mad
be
for-
sure.
It's making me mad for some reason. It's so easy to tell.
Yeah, there is zero chance of you not being able to tell which is the puppet and which is the live dog. Usually it's the live dog is running up the stairs. That's
Yeah.
not a puppet. But yeah, like I said,
They did not rebuild that puppet.
I'll be curious
to
to see if
match
we
the
can at
dog's
all
size.
notice that. Maybe that'd be a really like annoying assignment for Raleigh Cruson to be like, yeah, you need to increase that dog puppet by 2 inches. But yeah, that is all there is really to know about Fufu. But I thought those little facts and tidbits were interesting enough to mention because we will start seeing more of Fufu in the future. There will be some plot lines that revolve around Fufu. And yeah, it is interesting to find a Muppet that has existed for, 40 years, but doesn't really get a lot of love.
But it's nice that it's kind of nice that she gets to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
She's not thrown to the dustbin of history like so many other Muppet dogs have been.
Well, and gets to stay like the same kind of character as like,
Yeah.
this is Miss Piggy's dog. Like Miss Piggy just
Yeah.
always has a dog. And it's sort of that thing where a lot of the character types sort of change. Like you see Uncle Dudley be this weird, creepy goblin of the Muppet Show. And then now he's like Miss Piggy's
Her
assistant.
personal
And
assistant or
yeah.
whatever, yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, certain characters change a lot, but Fufu's just always Miss Piggy's dog.
Fufu's forever.
So, because we're forced to, what would you rate Fufu?
Gosh, I'm just looking at pictures of Fufu and it's pretty cute.
It's a pretty cute dog.
I feel like I need more information to really accurately give a number to Fufu. I need to see her in The Muppets Go to Disney World, for instance, because
yeah.
I know she's in that. I'm going to give her for now 2.5. And no, I'll give her 3. And we'll see if I adjust that upwards. I suspect I will.
I feel like Fufu is one we might fall in love with as we get more plots revolving around
Yeah.
her.
It's fun to think of Miss Piggy having a little minion.
Mm-hmm. And someone that she can shower with love who enjoys the affection as opposed to Kermit.
Yeah, and she can see right through Kermit's bullshit, too. We know what Kermit's really like, but nobody else seems to know, but Fufu knows.
Yeah, I will also probably rate Fufu a little low, but maybe she has room to grow. I'm going to go with a 42.
Okay.
Just felt
That's
right.
better than a lot of Muppets.
Yeah, she's cute. I feel like she's going to grow on us. And so, yeah, for now, 42.
And a Muppet dog. That's the one thing that they're the very best at.
So many good Muppet dogs. I am excited to learn, though. I looked this up to make sure. We do get to see more Muppy. I was afraid Fufu might replace Muppy.
Oh, that is interesting that there would be a Fufu and a Muppy.
Because we also haven't seen Muppy for a little while
Yeah.
really being a part of anything. We've seen Muppy in the background of some things. I think he was on the bed with John Denver, maybe. In the Grandma song.
I think that's right.
But yeah, Muppy will pop up more. I don't know
Interesting.
if Muppy and Fufu ever have a scene together, but we'll find out. So, Sam, did you have time to enjoy any non-Muppet things this week?
Oh, I didn't do too much. I played a lot of Elden Ring, though.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun and hard. Yeah, it's like I saw somebody describe it as like the beginning of Breath of the Wild when you're on that plateau
Mhm.
and you don't got nothing and you have to avoid everybody.
Right.
It feels so similar in the like satisfaction of surviving something and like seeing like a big monster and being like, I am not ready for that yet. And then like taking 2 steps towards it and being completely obliterated. And then knowing that there's like somewhere else you need to go logically to like go back there and fight that monster. And it's just like, very satisfying. And I don't even like Dark Souls games. They're too hard usually. But this one is a little bit more forgiving. And like the world is so cool. And it's just like, it's like a pure video game in its finest form, I would say.
It feels like a video game I would love to watch other people play.
Yeah.
That's been my feeling on a lot of Dark Souls things, where I am pretty sure those games are not my kind of game.
Yeah. Do you like very reflex-based, combat-based, intricate, very confusing games?
I mean, no, I'm more of a either sports game or light story, like Last of Us. I don't really need to be too fast on the trigger with Last of Us kind of games. Sure. I enjoy a good story or a sport that I can play for 15 minutes and have fun.
This one punishes you on purpose constantly.
Well, and the fact that I feel like I'd have to play for 6 hours at a time to really get anywhere, that is not what my video game habits have become these days. And so I don't even know that I would have time to really get into anything.
That's a problem that I know I'm going to have. I'm going to be able to play it once a week for 4 hours, and then it'll take me 2 years to beat it.
That's I'm still trying to get through the Horizon Dawn game.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah. I have I'm so not far into that game that I am never going to finish it.
It's so nasty to look at the clock and it's oh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're going to have a third game of that series out by the time I finish the first one.
The second one just came out.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
How about you?
So it is WrestleMania weekend, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
And
I saw some clips.
Yeah, so last night was night 1 of WrestleMania. They do it over 2 nights now. And yeah, it's really freaking good. And I don't think night 2 is going to live up to the hype of night 1. I think they kind of put all their best stuff in night 1. So we'll see how this goes.
So is that when Roman Reigns fought the other guy?
No, that is tonight. But that's the only match that I'm looking forward to tonight. And it's the very last match. So I got to sit through 4 hours to get to that. But last night was all the Becky Lynch stuff. And Stone Cold Steve Austin came back and wrestled his first match in 19 years.
Whoa.
And he did
Did he
great.
drink a beer?
Yeah, he drank 5 beers during the match.
Okay.
Mid-match, he's beating up a guy and calls for beers and drinks them and then keeps beating the guy up.
Yeah, the beers make him strong, like Popeye.
They literally made that comparison during the match.
Did they really?
Yes. They said, Popeye has his spinach, Steve has his Steve Weisers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes. Last night was great. Even in spite of the fact that Logan Paul wrestled a match.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Thankfully, they treated him as the bad guy he is. He came out wearing a bedazzled, diamond-encrusted necklace that was holding a 1-of-1 Pikachu card worth $1 million.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I know of this Pikachu card.
Yes. So he was wearing that around his neck as he came out for the match.
Wrestling fans aren't going to like that.
No,
obviously.
He was very purposely, he is set up to be the bad guy in this scenario, thankfully. They didn't try to make him a hero because that would have backfired tremendously.
What an arc those two have had.
Yeah, Jake Paul was there too. He was there cheering on his brother, and just seeing the Paul brothers on the wrestling is not my favorite thing.
No.
But yeah, before we go, we should probably let the people know what we're watching next time. Next week, we're moving on to November 1979 as we watch 3 more episodes of Season 4 of The Muppet Show featuring guests Victor Borga, Beverly Sills, and recent star of the Oscars, Liza Minnelli.
That ought to be something, I would guess.
I think it's a fan favorite episode.
Okay.
But we need to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget, you can head over to commitment.com to pick up a Commitment logo enamel pin and check out our brand new Patreon page. We also want to let you know that you can now listen to this podcast on YouTube. We have links for that probably in the description, and over at commitment.com, you can find that.
Probably put it on Twitter too, I would guess.
It'll be out there.
You'll find it.
Or just search Commitment on YouTube. You'll probably find it that way too. Eventually, if we have enough subscribers, we can get that custom URL that we can share, but we don't have that yet. And you can also email us at mail@commitment.com if you have any questions or links to secret, unseen Muppet things that the internet may be hiding from us. And you can follow this podcast on Twitter at CommitmentPod, where every week we tweet out the links to what we are going to be watching and let you know where you can find them. And you can follow me on the internet at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.